there, another little supplementary video here. We're in Adobe Photoshop, and we're going to send a graphic directly from Photoshop into the ATEM's still store on one of the 64 stills. In this case, as you can see, I've got my graphic that I've created in Photoshop, so this is a lower third. If I go to the right hand side here, you can see I've got various layers in my PSD. I used it to generate the little ball animations as well. And I've got red, green and blue channels, and I've got an alpha for the ball channels and an alpha for the lower thirds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this out now as purely just the lower third graphic. I'm going to forget about the animations. So I'm going to get rid of a few layers. So I'm going to get rid of the layer C, just hit the backspace, B and A. So I'm just left with a black background, which you must always have, must always be black. I've got my layer 2, which is the pictures, the purple ball and the blue bar, and I've got the text as well. So, oh, it doesn't like the font, but never mind, I'll sort that out later. In my channels, I've got red, green and blue, and I've got my 2 alphas. I only need the one, so I'm going to get rid of this one. Delete channel. So I've got my red, green and blue, and I've got my alpha channel, which is the red bit. So if I turn off that, you can see I've got my black background and my white cookie cutter to cut the hole in the video where I want my foreground pictures to come through. So there you go. So that's what I was doing, it's just clicking there. So back to layers again, and you can see I've got my text layer, my picture layer, my black background. So I need to save this out now in some fashion that the Blackmagic system will recognize it. Now in Photoshop you can add in a plugin that comes from Blackmagic, which goes into your export menu. So you go up to File up here and Export when you're ready to save it out, and in the export dialog you have ATEM Switcher Media Pool. So we're going to send this graphic straight to the media pool. Comes up with the IP address of the control panel, the main physical control panel down here, which is 240. The name is going to be called alphas. You can change that. We can say lower third. Where do you want it to go? In the media pool location on the switcher itself, where do you want it to go? There are 64 locations. Let's put it in 64 so we know that it's definitely different from anything else. Colors, use pre-multiply alpha. I'm not sure what that means. I need to read it up, but leave it switched on anyway. It helps with the alpha channel, I suppose. It's one of the things that we saw in the Blackmagic system as well when that was there, but we'll use it. And lastly, after export, what do you do with that graphic once it gets into the ATEM? Do you do nothing and just leave it on slot 64, still store 64, or do you assign it to one of the media players? We're going to assign it to media player 2. Because I've been playing around with Media Player 2 quite a lot, put it straight into Media Player 2. Whatever is on Media Player 2 right now, and as you can see, it's our rotating graphic animation there, the 3 balls, it's going to overwrite that. Don't worry, that'll still be there as clip 2, but it just won't be sitting on Media Player 2. So I'm going to kick that off, and that's it done. And as you can see over there in the distance, the rotating balls has changed, and we've got our little lower third graphic. And it's just disappeared, and we'll look at that in a little while. Don't know why. Let's give it a moment, see if it comes back. No, okay, not to worry, punch it up here. So we'll go back to our Blackmagic control software, and we'll look at Media Player 2. You see, there's a graphic. Just as we said, sent straight from Photoshop, straight into the ATEM, stored in Still Store 64, so we'll go and have a look at that on the media panel. Way down here, number 64. There it is, and it's red because it's in use because I punched it up. Ah, got a signal back. That's good. Must be gremlins ferreting around down below the desk. But there you go, got a picture back. And if you want to see it keyed over something, just to prove it can downstream key, we'll bring up Media Player 1 on our foreground. So there's a rotating thingy, and we will bring up our downstream key, and there you go. That's the key channel we just made.